Hi, I'm Jonathan Aguero, Sales Director with Black Pearl, which is a mobile-friendly, simple dealership management platform. I'm here today to present to you how to improve your service department profitability. In this video, we will introduce the key measurements needed to assess your technician performance. Number 2, understand technician efficiency, productivity, and proficiency. Number 3, use the results to implement simple improvements in service process and profitability. And lastly, we'll share the details of our NATDA Show Special. The NATDA says that good margin goals for your service department are no less than 75% on labor sales and 35% on part sales. To hit these goals, we have to either lower the cost of sale or increase your selling price. Lowering your parts costs where possible is a good way to start. But today, we'll want to focus on lowering the cost of sales in the service department by using the right metrics to guide your plan of action in the shop. Let's go into key measurements needed to assess your technician's performance. Our first step is to think a little bit about what the goal of using metrics is. Using metrics, the right metrics, is all about telling you what you did not know so you have the power to take new action. My question to you is, do you know the true cost of your labor revenue? To generate 1 hour of billable labor, what's the unique cost your shop incurred to produce that? This is called variable cost. When we talk about variable cost, what we're after is this. What is the total cost for producing that billable hour above and beyond the overhead I would have paid anyway? Here's an example. The technician makes a few mistakes and spends 2 hours of real time to do a 1 hour job. Your variable cost for that service job includes 2 hours of the tech's pay at their hourly wage, right? So to clarify, overhead costs are not included. So a portion of the monthly lease would be part of your fixed costs, not the variable costs. Variable costs include things like how much you had to pay your techs, shop supplies that were used, and like I said, part cost. A key to your shop profitability is your technician labor cost. To get service work done, we need to pay our technicians. A lot of dealerships pay their techs an hourly wage for their service work. Top performing service operations measure how those hours are used. How technicians spend the hours you pay them for is measured by recording the hours the technicians spend on each job and other tasks throughout the day. This is often referred to as job clocking. Different types of job clocking are the estimation method, where your techs look at the clock and estimate, write down how much time they think they spent. Number 2, a traditional timer, like an actual time clock. And number 3, and the best, is electronic job clocking. Hopefully your DMS, your dealership management platform, has electronic job clocking built in. This makes things really easy because all of your data is in one system. Reporting and understanding how to coach your team is really easy. For instance, with electronic job clocking, your service manager can assign a job to a technician from the job summary screen of your dealership platform. Jobs are automatically updated with job status and clocked hours, and your technicians can see their queue of jobs, access the work order themselves if you want them to, can clock on and off of the job from something like a computer, a tablet, or a phone. Lastly, your technicians can record time spent on other activities, so you can decide how are they using their time at the dealership. A process like what I just described, an electronic job clocking system in your dealership management platform, keeps your shop and the dealership fully organized and allows you to record exactly how much time techs spend on each job. What should you do with those measurements that you get from recording how they spend their time? Well, you want to make sure that the tool you use to record the technician's time can also gather that time information into a tech performance report. It helps you coach your technicians. There are 3 key numbers to look at once you have that technician performance data. Number 1, productivity. Number 2, efficiency. And number 3, proficiency. So, what is productivity? Productivity measures the percentage of the time your tech spends payroll clocked into work that is actually spent clocked into jobs. So if my technician, Jane Doe, clocks into the dealership for 40 hours one week and then spends 20 hours clocked into actual jobs that week, Jane was at 50% productivity that week. The next question is, what's a good goal for productivity? This will vary for each operation, of course, but in general, since non-work order related activities can take up to 20% of a tech's time, Getting to 75 to 80% productivity is a good goal. What about efficiency? The efficiency metric measures how quickly a technician can get jobs done. The formula is this: the number of clocked real-time hours divided by the number of billed hours. So if a technician gets a job that will be billed at 1 hour done in exactly 1 real hour, they would be at 100% efficiency. But if things go wrong on a job and they spend 2 hours to generate that single hour of billable labor, they're only going to be at 50% efficiency. So what's a good standard? 100% efficiency is a good goal to start with. That means your techs are spending 1 real hour for every 1 hour you bill. That's good. A master tech can eventually get as high as 125% efficiency. Now let's move on to proficiency. Proficiency combines productivity and efficiency. How do we calculate it? Well, out of all the billable hours that could have been created in a time period like a week, how many did the tech actually create? If a tech, for instance, spent 20 hours at my dealership and then generated 20 billable hours of labor that week, they're at 100% proficiency. The perfect number for you to shoot for is going to vary based on your operation. But in a perfect world, a master tech would always be at 100% proficiency. This would mean that the tech is producing more billable hours than the actual real-time hours spent. So if they spent 20% of their clock time doing other tasks, which is normal, they could still end up at 100% proficiency if your shop was completely busy. So if your shop's not completely busy, of course, this is going to vary, and you may need to shoot for a lower number initially. In general, the higher the better. So once you measure where your baseline is, just work to improve it week by week and month by month. Once you're clear on the metrics you want to look at, you've got to make sure you have a way to actually measure them. Many modern dealership platforms will have a built-in technician performance report that shows these numbers over a customizable time frame. For instance, Black Pearl shows a simple report with all 3 key metrics that is customizable to show more detail or less detail. You can also choose which techs you want to show it for, what time frame, etc. Once you know how your technicians are performing at these key metrics, you can create a simple solution for improvement. For instance, you can start by identifying why a junior tech is struggling with efficiency. Do they need more training or equipment? Is there a breakdown in communication? Is it easy for them to add parts and labor to the work orders? I recommend a web-based or a tablet-friendly solution to maximize work order efficiency. If a technician is struggling with productivity, do they need a simpler set of work duties or fewer distractions, right? If the numbers are struggling in general, it can be good to take a look at your service write-up and work pass-back process in general. Is the process unnecessarily complex or reliant on human memory? Workers who have simple, intuitive processes are going to be less frustrated and therefore are more creative and resilient. Here's a final tip. Why not set up bonus programs to drive the metrics you want to rise? If you don't have one already, consider a performance-based bonus plan driven by a technician's proficiency or efficiency metric. Visibility can be key to following and tracking any changes or bonus programs you make, so ensure that you have good visibility through displays, dashboards, and reporting. Black Pearl, for instance, includes easy-to-use service reporting, job dashboards, and even a workshop dashboard designed to show the current status of all jobs on a TV display in your shop. Speaking of Black Pearl, if you have any interest in the platform, consider heading over to blackpearl.com and scheduling a demo. They're 15 minutes, they're easy, and you'll get a look at what we think is the simplest, most powerful dealership management platform for trailer. If you sign up during NATDA, there's a special offer. Your first month will be free, and you can choose from one of the following 2 offers: Price Books Unlimited or free 2-way texting for 5 months. And remember, with Black Pearl, there are no setup fees and training is included. Let's wrap up. In this video today, we covered the key measurements needed to assess your technician's performance. We went over the metrics of efficiency, productivity, and proficiency. And lastly, we covered how to implement simple improvements to service process and profitability. I'm Jonathan Aguero with Black Pearl. Thanks for joining and have a wonderful day.